We're going to talk about Jamal Browner doing the Deadlift World Championships next year. But first, if you find any of this helpful, entertaining, educational, please consider hitting that subscribe button. The growth of this channel is 100% because of you, so thank you.
As you guys know, I got invited to do the World Deadlift Championships. I think I can be the lightest man to pull 1K. Of course, I would do a conventional. I would use straps, but I wouldn't use a suit or anything.
So it looks like Jamal Browner's all set to do the Deadlift World Championships, and this is going to be a really cool thing to see. One of the things that I love about the nature of strength sports right now that I think drives a lot of people crazy is that it isn't standardized. We have all these different rules and federations, and what that means is that we get a lot of mileage out of discussing something as simple and straightforward as bending over and picking up a barbell. And this is one of these rare, satisfying moments where we get to actually see one of these fantasy hypotheticals materialize in real life. Now, Jamal Browner is extraordinarily strong. Obviously, he is crazy strong as a sumo puller. He's pulled over 1,100 pounds with straps in the sumo setup. Now, we kind of poke fun because that is the one variation of deadlifting that isn't allowed anywhere. You can put on a suit, you can hitch, you can cheat your way up. As long as it's conventional, it counts in strongman. Similarly, you can get as wide as you want, limit the range of motion to absolutely nothing, but the trade-off is you have to go strapless for it to count in powerlifting. So it's kind of the orphan lifting technique of strength sports. Now, of course, he's still a monster conventional deadlifter. He's pulled 950 and some change in training, conventional without a suit, and apparently he's planning on going without a suit at the World Championships. Now, there's no doubt in my mind he's going to turn heads. He's going to be the lightest guy there, unless he goes on a monster bulk, which I would actually like to see him do. I mean, there's no reason he can't bloat up another 20 pounds to put up a really big number. And I think if he does that, he could get pretty close to $1,000. If he added a little bit of weight instead of trying to stay within firing range of 242, I think he could get close to $1,000. Now, my prediction is that he's not going to place, and that's because the people that take this competition seriously are doing everything they can to exploit it. So they are training with a suit. They are coming in bloated and heavy as possible. And as a result, you get a bunch of guys that are well into the 1,000-pound range. You get like Pavlo Nakonechny, who won the deadlift for reps at the Rogue Invitational. It was a 900-pound elevated deadlift, and he made it look like an absolute toy. I mean, here he is pulling 770 for 10 with complete ease. Then you get Mitchell Hooper, who has grown immensely in the last couple of years and is still growing. He's always a threat in the deadlift. And then you got Ivan Makarov, who's tried to break the deadlift record a handful of times. He's one of the best hopes to do it. This guy has one of the most freakish deadlift builds I've ever seen. I think he's a more advantaged puller than Jamal Browner is. And Ivan is big, he's thick, he's filled out. And here he is deadlifting 380 kilograms for 7 reps, and he's calling Jamal Browner out in this pose. This is from about a month ago. I mean, the guy has just such a short, stocky torso. He doesn't have to deal with like any of the torque on his low back that the rest of us do when we pull. And the benefit of that is that he can just pull as hard as he wants and not worry about the integrity of his brace giving. So my prediction is there's not going to be a lot of upsets. Jamal's going to come in. He's going to do what he does. He's going to pull something ridiculous into the high 9s. If he comes in bloated, he may knock on 1,000 pounds. And then I think a lot of people, including him, are going to start to play the, well, what if I actually did wear a suit game? So if I had any say about it, I'd have him start throwing on a suit right now because it's super easy to integrate into your training without disrupting your raw deadlift training. It's not like a squat suit or a bench shirt, but maybe he knows he's just going there for fun. He's just going there to show up with the big guys and see what happens. So it's actually better if he does it raw. So you kind of get that asterisk that lends itself to bragging rights, as opposed if you went full bore and still ended up taking 5th or 6th in the entire show. But this is really cool to see. One of the things I miss about strength sports from back in the day is the crossover of different sports. We like to think that we're all different from each other. And when you're in the heart of specialization, your training is different. It's more specialized. But most of what we do carries over to everything else. So it seems to be that strongman is kind of the meeting ground where people from other strength sports come in and kind of test their mettle against each other, which is cool because that's what strongman has always been. And I'm interested to see what kind of discussion this sparks among other powerlifters. John Hack has competed at smaller meets, and there have been a few years where he was supposed to have done worlds. And I know that there are some other heavy hitters that have tried their hand in it as well. I'd really like to see more guys come into the sport. I'd like to see there be more of a free trade back and forth of strength athletes in these different sports. I think it'd be really cool. So I'm excited. I support Jamal Browner in this. He is an absolute freak deadlifter. As much shit as I've ever talked about sumo as a fixture in powerlifting, there is no doubt that Jamal has earned his status as one of the best powerlifters of our time. So it'll be very cool to see what he does. So go ahead and leave your questions and comments below. Do you think Jamal's going to upset some of the heavy hitters at the Deadlift World Championships? Do you think he's going to make the switch to strongman and start doing farmer carries and Atlas stone loads? Or do you think he's going to get 4 months out and get FOMO from whatever powerlifting meets he has to miss to do this and end up pulling out? Leave your comments below. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Till next time, this is Bromley. I'll see you.